This is my first video. We've finally filmed it, which is so good, and it is one of the best recipes ever. I'm probably going to say that every time because I love all of my recipes, but I think that's a good thing. So this is a lemon syrup cake. It is iced on the side, which is really fun, and I'm going to show you how to make it. First up, we need to make a lemon curd. So I'm actually going to do it in a fry pan. Usually I'll do it in a pot, but we need to make this first and it needs time to sit in the fridge and chill so it firms up and you can pipe it on. I'm going to melt the butter in the fry pan first, just to get started. So that's just melting. I'm going to crack the eggs, have them ready to go. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a head start. So I've grabbed a fork, I'm just going to whisk them up. Means less work in the pan, really. We want to do everything as easy and quick as possible. All right, this is melted enough, so I'm going to add the caster sugar, lemon juice. There is a couple of seeds in there, I don't care because we're going to sieve it afterwards. Then chuck your eggs in. I'm going to swap to a whisk. So it's way easier that those eggs have already been beaten up a little bit. Gives you less work at this point. We're going to alternate between the spatula and the whisk because we also don't want to make an omelette. So the spatula is good to get every single surface on the bottom of the pan. You don't want anything to stick. So as the fry pan starts to heat up more, I might actually turn it down a little bit. So it's on 6 out of 10 right now, and I'll probably turn it down to 4 soon once I see something happening. I'm going to stir this the whole time or else it's going to scramble. And then once it comes up to temperature, we're going to put it through a sieve, get any little lumps of egg whites or the lemon seeds out, and then we're going to put it in the fridge. Nice and thick, lots of scrambled bits of egg through it, and see, I don't even care because we're going to sieve that out. I see the scrambled egg and then I know it's nearly ready. Finger through, it's not moving, so it's ready to go. We'll take it off the heat. You've got this lumpy ass curd, and we're going to change that. I've just got this shallow bowl here and I'm going to put the sieve over, get all of those lumps out. I'm not going to push it too firmly. I don't want to get any of that egg through the sieve. So just moving it around a little bit. Scrape the bottom of the sieve, that's all good. Look what we've got. We've got nice smooth lemon curd. What I'm going to do now is put a little bit of Glad wrap directly on the surface of the lemon curd. If it is not touching the curd, it's going to form a skin. Let's leave that on the bench for 5 minutes just so it can cool down a little bit before it goes into the fridge. I have the icing sugar in the mixing bowl already and some butter. Because we're using the icing sugar, it's going to puff up, so the butter needs to be a little bit softer than usual, and then into the mixer. So I've got half the lemon zest in here, and we're going to save this half for the lemon cake once it's baked. Onto your stand mixer, just start it on a low speed because the icing sugar can puff up. This would actually be really easy to do in a hand mixer as well because this is quite a small batch of cake batter, but also if you have a mixer, it's nice and easy. So I'm just going to scrape the sides of the bowl, get any of the lumps of butter down into the center of the bowl, put it back on so it can go on a high speed now, just for a minute or so, and it'll go nice and light and fluffy. You do need to be quite careful with scraping down the sides properly. Ah, I didn't even have the oven on. Ugh. I'm going to put half the milk in. Just give it a little tiny mix again, just to get it going through the batter. All of the flour, chuck the baking powder in. Low speed. Oh! Low speed on the mixer, and then pour the milk in. I turned it up quickly just to get it mixed through. Give it one little tiny scrape. Remember, you don't want to overmix it. Any more than that, the cake will start to get really dense. With mixer bowls, sometimes you'll get a bit of the icing, sugar and butter in the bottom of the mixer. So I like to get the spatula and just make sure you scrape down and up and really get the bottom of the mixer bowl. If you have bits of sugar that's not combined through the batter, when it bakes, you'll have little holes in the cake that explode, and that's the sugar melting and then exploding. So batter all done, and now we're going to line a tin. This is my favorite cooking spray ever. It's Sprink. Gonna just lightly spray the tin first. Then I have a piece of baking paper. Just gonna sit it on the baking paper and then just do a little cut for how wide the tin is. So that's my cut there. That's it all there in the tin, lined, ready to go. One little spray again, and in the cake batter can go. This is going to take like 40 minutes in the oven, but of course it always depends on your oven. So my oven sucks at home. I'm going to probably leave it in there for 40 to 45 minutes, but I'm going to check it at the 40-minute mark. And now we can put it into the oven. Okay, so the cake is in the oven and we can make our little lemon sugar that's going to go around the outside of the cake. This is some caster sugar, so this is the super fine one. Spread it onto your plate and then get the remaining zest of those 2 lemons. We're gonna give it a little massage into the sugar, just really release those lemon oils. If we can get the lemon flavor in as many ways as possible, then it's gonna be a delicious cake. So we've got the lemon zest in the cake. We're gonna also do a syrup on there and then the lemon zest in this sugar as well. This is a really good way to get more lemon flavor into the cake because the zest has a lot of the really delicious oils. We're gonna massage that into the sugar and just really level it up. You want a lemon cake, you're gonna get one. We're gonna make the syrup now. So I have a lemon. I'm just gonna squeeze it in between my fingers to get any of the pips. I'm just gonna catch those. It's winter here in New Zealand, so the lemons are so nice and juicy. So in summer, I love all the berries, but then in winter, I just love the citrus, the lemons and the limes. It's so good. This is about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I'm just gonna eyeball it at this point. 2 heaped teaspoons of the icing sugar. Just give it a stir. Got a little pip in there. That guy can come out. You could use a tiny sieve if you've got one. And just set that aside. So we're doing our prep now. I love getting everything ready before you go to finish the cake. It just makes it so much easier. And I'm quite chill right now, which is not really like me in general. So if I prep, I'm always better off in the kitchen. This is the lemon cake. It's completely chilled now. So you just need to kind of pull it up to release it from the tin and onto a chopping board. I have a phobia of like any flavor onto a chopping board, which is why I have baking paper down. So I've actually got dedicated fruit and savory chopping boards and no one ever follows the rules. So I never trust them. I always put baking paper down over the chopping board. Good. I've just got a pastry brush and I'm gonna get this lemon syrup. Just give it a little stir again. Gonna brush the whole thing in this delicious fresh lemon syrup. So a lot of people bake their syrup, so they boil it with lemon juice and the sugar and it gets all really thick, but you lose that fresh lemon zing, which I don't really like. I like it when it's fresh and acidic and vibrant. Get every single surface. So I'm gonna flip this onto the sugar and then do the other side there. And then just brush it all over the top. This is almost like a little adhesive as well, so the sticky lemon syrup is gonna grab that lemon sugar that's on the plate. This turns into a crust, so if you think this looks weird now, it doesn't once it's cut and on the plate. It's not too sweet, so don't come at me for saying this is too much sugar because we're gonna cut it up and we're gonna portion it, and it is very nicely balanced with that acidic lemon juice and then the sugar. I am gonna brush the excess off though, and then back onto the chopping board. So we're done with this now. I'm gonna make some little seats for the cake slices to sit on. So I've just got some baking paper, cut a strip. So there's some slices there, and so the cake can sit on top of those. We're gonna cut this loaf into 6, so I'm gonna do one more strip. And then onto a rack or a serving dish. And you wanna get a serrated knife. So we're gonna just eyeball it in the center. And I'm gonna mark it out before I cut just so it is even. If you wanted to be extra pedantic, you could get a measuring tape. down center. Oh, that looks so good. This is literally perfect. You want a loaf recipe? This is it. So I'm gonna lay all of those down on the baking paper. You could also cut this into 8 if you wanted to. This is quite a big piece. I'm gonna do 6 today. With the remainder of that lemon syrup, we're just gonna do a light brush over all of them. Gets it extra moist, extra lemony. So I'm gonna use all of this up. We don't wanna waste it. And that'll just soak into the cake slowly. Time to decorate the top of the cake. So we're gonna do a rocher of whipped cream. This is just regular pouring cream, and we're gonna turn it into a chantilly, which is cream, some icing sugar, and then a touch of vanilla. So we're gonna whip that until medium peaks. I'm notorious for over whipping cream, so I always like to check it first before I carry on. This needs to be whipped enough that it's gonna hold its shape, but not too firm that it starts to separate. So I'm happy with that. And what I've got now is, I've just boiled the jug and I have this spoon. So when we rocher, it is a one-handed quenelle, and I got the spoon from the op shop. Old spoons tend to be better and they have a more curved, like, underneath side. So that's easier for doing a rocher, and you're gonna get a really nice rounded shape. So I've just got a cup and I'm gonna fill it up with some hot water. You need the hot water so the cream comes off the spoon onto the cake. Without it, you wouldn't be able to do this. So we'll warm it up, and I've got some lemon curd that we made earlier. I just put it into a smaller bowl so it would cool quicker. Piping bag, and we'll need some scissors again. Put the lemon curd into the bag. And then just cut the tiniest tip off the end. 1/2 centimeter. This is harder than it looks. It's just practice. I don't condone using store-bought meringues, but today I am, so don't judge me. I will show you how to make meringues one day. Just gonna crush them up. Okay, it's time to rocher. Just get the cream and make a nice flat surface. Hot water. I'm gonna have the spoon completely horizontal, pull it towards me, and then lift up. So in, pull, lift up, and quickly onto the cake. Every single time we do one, the spoon is going back into the hot water. Tap off the excess water, in, pull, twist your wrist, wipe the cream on the side just to clean up the edge, and then onto the cake. So now we want to get our flat surface back. Get your spatula back in there. First ones usually look really good, and then the further you get along, they look a bit meh. If you don't have a piping bag, you could just do this with a teaspoon. I'm gonna just do a little drizzle over each one. And we're gonna get that crushed up meringue. Crush it a little bit more as well on your fingers. The good thing about the meringue too is that it's nice and light as a decoration because the cream is whipped. It's not that stable. You want to decorate these and serve them immediately. Because the meringue is nice and light, it's not going to push down on that cream too much. So more is more. Get as much on top of that cream as you can. And then to finish up, I'm just going to do a little yellow edible flower. So I like to buy these in punnets at the hardware store, and then you can just put them in the garden. They are violas, so you can eat them. And saying that, most people don't though. You just pick it off, but it looks cute. So I reckon do it. Okay, so we're done. This is the lemon syrup loaf cake. It has the lemon sugar on the outside, lemon syrup on the cake, quenelle of cream, bit of lemon curd, the meringue, and the flowers, and you're all good to serve it. It is so delicious. Literally the most lemony of lemon cakes ever. We're finally here. My first YouTube video.